All right. There we go. He's posted real quick to socials. Good to go. Oh, what? Sorry. Changing things. Realize I didn't update the titles. That'll do it. And yes, I did just think of this. Instantly, that title just came to mind. What's up, Boozin? You're not late, let's go. I think I clicked. How's it going, Oozin? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Host. And now we should be good. Do one of these. Since it's just oozing here, let me post this chat real fast. Pin this message. Whatever. All right. Boom. All right. I'm ready. Do I look different? Or does it look the same? I'm standing. I feel like my back has been... I feel like an 80-year-old man. So I decided I would try standing while streaming tonight, or at least for part of the stream. I don't know if 2.5 hours is going to work, but I may be standing for a little bit since I've been sitting all day. Alright, so we were doing things. Still figuring this little plaza space out, along with some of these other little details. What kind of music do you listen to? Honestly, anything that sounds good at the time. I'm not, like, super picky necessarily. I listen to a lot of different random music. Whether that, like, is rap, R&B, hip-hop, country, metal. Kind of like whatever mood I'm in, honestly. Which sometimes is really, really random stuff. But like the stream music is just some royalty-free stuff that I can stand, really. Not necessarily music I actually listen to, but stuff that is royalty-free because I don't like silence. That weird? Might just be better to go down. You heard of the band Ghost? I don't think so. Doesn't immediately sound familiar, at least. I don't know if I like that. What kind of music is it? I mean, it kind of sounds... Just from the name, Ghost? I don't know. Hard to say. Alright. I have to just start building some of this stuff because I'm like, I don't know what I want to do in some of these intermediate, just random spaces. But as I start the little details, it just looks better and better, so I need to just keep going. Who's breaking stuff? I mean, it's a start, I guess. Don't love it, but I guess they're like rock music. Swedish band, interesting. No, definitely haven't, but I definitely enjoy rock music every once in a while. Really just depends on the mood I'm in. It's very random. Or I get super like hyper fixated on like one random album that came out or something. Like as of lately, it's just been Eminem and his new album and some of the new music he's made, and then it'll like switch to country out of nowhere, and then I'll be like, I want to listen to some screamo. And then it's been a really long day, so then I listen to some like death metal. You never know. Always like some hip-hop goes punk. Or rap goes punk. I mean, there's everything of that stuff, but it's so random what I listen to on a daily basis. I have like a massive Spotify playlist with just like all sorts of random songs. Stuff that's like super old school, random hip-hop to just like the most random like SpongeBob song. Got the CAMPFIRESONG song. Definitely, I'll send you a song to check out. Sounds good. Always down to listen to some random music. You never know what you're gonna like, you know, until you hear it. Super random, but I think it'll be interesting. What's up, Backwoods? The Devil Wears Prada, Still Fly is one of my favorite hip-hop ghost punk songs. Nice. That's funny. That sounds like a great one. I might have to listen to that. I don't think I've heard that one. Did catch you live last time, but watched it on YouTube. The antlion at the start. Oh my god, right? That was so ridiculous. Like, I've come to terms with the vast majority of things in New Game Plus, but that is the one thing that I am like, this is ridiculous that someone let this happen. I'm okay with the bosses just beating you down and like creating a challenge and having to roll like random stuff because I played like so much Diablo and stuff. I'm just used to random things, or like the butcher just like one-shotting you out of nowhere. Like I'm super used to that kind of stuff. And the RNG like redoing of dungeons and stuff endlessly, like I'm super used to that. But man, that antlion RNG, everything about it is ridiculous. So funny. I missed your stream by like 20 minutes. I was working the other day in the morning and I hopped on Twitch and wasn't really paying attention, and then randomly just looked over, refreshed the screen, then it was like your channel was live. So I was like, oh, I'll click on that, see what he's up to. And then you literally had like 10-20 minutes earlier had stopped stream. I was like, dang it. Literally barely missed it. I'll figure out what I want to do here. One of these days I'll catch you. You. What? That ain't what I clicked. Oh, dang it. Alright, so maybe we have to stop it there. Currently in a bit of a writer's block for buildings. I was just farming cones. I need to get more reference pictures. That is honestly like my way to go. Honestly, it's always just finding pictures, and all it takes for me is like, that's an interesting building. I'm gonna like utilize that. Although many of my things look like custom and stuff, they all come from a basic idea, and then I mold them to look cool in the game. Like this basic base, this whole thing is just a little like random image I'm looking at. And then I just sort of add in details to make things pop out from my own. But I honestly, I feel like everyone watches my writer's block live now. I just sit and I'm like, if I'm not building actively, it's just me like contemplating like, what the heck do I even do here? How do I build? For some reason, this project, maybe just because of the scale of it, I haven't struggled with it as much. But there are moments in each build that I've struggled with and sat there and just looked at it. That's the best part about this city design, is I can just like, oh, let me jump over here and work on this house. And then, ooh, I have an idea for the outside. And then, okay, one thing over here. And then I forgot I was working on this part over there. There's never like a dull moment with how much is being built currently. But man, there are times where I totally get the struggle with the writer's block. Get a house of some kind here. So I think this is not on the right grid. Let's do that. This way I can break the game a little bit more. And then not the whole building is on an angle. This might be 3 buildings. I don't know yet. That sort of works. Could also... weird. It's kind of interesting. Listened to Bullet for my Valentine today. Had nostalgia. Dude, I love like listening to like old music I used to listen to. Just brings it all back. There's always like a song for every great moment in life. Like the pop goes punk stuff, or hip hop goes punk, or R&B goes punk, or whatever it is that I was listening to at the time, just brings back the early morning drives to work with one of my best friends when we randomly worked at the same company for a year or two. And every day was just like him absolutely bumping music in the car while we drove to work. And most mornings, which is crazy, was pop goes punk or hip hop goes punk. Like every morning. And we worked at a medical supply company, so it was like super early. I mean, it was like 5 in the morning because we had to be at work by like 6. And it was like an hour away almost. It was just punk goes pop. Yeah. What's up, Lude? Yeah, it literally was like every single morning. That's what he would bump in the car. Good times. Just like that. I don't know. Houses are just gonna be meant to be random, so gotta fill these in a little bit so they're just the. Does that fit? Or I can do a door here. That's the question. Yes. Perfect, actually. Where are they? Too early to place that. Get the rest of the stuff done. And go. Sure, that's what I told you to. Or the little palisade things. Duh. Duh. Looking literally right at them. Heck. How'd that work? On a totally different grid. Was thinking of doing stairs, which would mean I'd have to do this one higher. Do I care? Probably not. Time I come in, Timbers just going crazy on the building. No lack of ideas. It's you never know, man. I don't even know if it's like ideas. It's just like I just start doing it at this point. I feel like ages ago there was like moments of just like, what am I doing? But now I have those moments within each build. It's just more like there's always a plethora of things that I can do. So my brain just is like, well, just move on to this next portion. This stuff's really easy for me personally as well, just because I kind of just turn my brain off and build. As maybe annoying as that sounds. I'm just like, okay, well, I need a house here, so I just start pulling shapes. I think that's maybe the one perk of the architectural background at work is that I was never allowed to have like the moments of burnout and stuff doing like architecture school. Like I had it, of course, don't get me wrong. But you just always had to make it work at the end of the day. And so couldn't really afford to get stuck. You just had to keep doing things until something worked. What's up, Jeremy? Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, it honestly, I mean, you could sit and look at something for 17 hours and get nowhere, or you can just start doing something that's maybe totally wrong, and it's gonna spark something, some idea, some concept in your brain. And that's sort of the way I like to think of it, at least, is like, I may not stick with anything I'm doing at a given time, but if I keep going, what is this? Sure. Oh, I was gonna have to do this for that anyways, yeah. Struggle of the mini grid. It's definitely a good habit to get in. Just start doing it. If you just build, you'll find something in it that you like, and then that's where you can move forward from. And I have an entire collection of random images to work off of as well, so I just have a lot of things at my disposal at any given time to try to prevent any of those struggles. Why does that work there? What? There it is. Okay. I was like, is this impossible? What am I missing here? Thought I was going crazy. Have you tried the circle floor pattern backwoods posted yet? Where was that? What chat was that in? Or the like, I don't know. The like, the thing I sort of did in the is it the bathhouse sort of thing? With like the burr circles and then the stem like these things around it. Essentially this, but this slightly different, I think is maybe what you're talking about. If it's the like combo floors with like, what are they? These things, and then the bigger stem pieces around it. That's where I got this idea from. It's like interlaying these floors together. What's up, Dagger? Yeah, Lude, that's essentially where I got that idea for the floor in the bathhouse. I just kind of did it my own, less checkerboardy style, repetitive pattern, and more flowy random for this style to fit it to what I was already doing. I like the repetitive pattern, but for this, the more flowy design worked, and then it just naturally kind of fit in. It made some weird spots, but we don't look at those. There's a lot of areas it works and a lot it doesn't. Can I send a question and picture in Discord? Yeah. That's all it's made for, man. 100%. Anything building related, grounded related, as long as it's in the relevant chat, that's the place to do it. It's literally the only reason I made the Discord was to collect other great builders to bounce ideas off of and stuff. And there's tons of other pictures and stuff. What's up? Welcome in, hey. Didn't know if you had tried it in a square building or not. No. I have not. That's the only place I've done it to this point. I'll be back using my phone for Discord and Twitch. All good. No clue what I'm going to do here, but I feel like I have to cover this twig. One sec. How do we give tours in detail? Like on the Discord or in general? I have done base tours of people's, like Luderav is the only person so far, but I've done base tours to post on the channel as well. If you're very interested in showing your stuff, some people don't really like that, so. Okay, this needs to be at least 2 buildings, if not maybe 3. Feeling like shorter, taller, maybe? One shorter, one a little taller. Managed to do the whole circle pattern and fit it in a square building with the triangle flooring in between. Nice. In general, I don't know how. Like on the Discord, you can just post pictures of your base, or if you wanted to, like, you downloaded OBS. I guess it depends on if you're on PC or Xbox. If you're on Xbox, I think all you can really do is screenshots and take pictures of it, unless you have a capture card, which most people would not unless they make content. Other than that, if you're on PC, you could post images in the Discord all you want. That's what it's meant for, and you could also record as well. Do a little recording and post like a video of it. Or if you want to do a YouTube one, you just have to reach out to me directly on Discord. Something. One of these. Interesting. Not really anything to fill a weird. Some of these roofs. Gotta come up with the weirdest roofs. At least that lines up. Are you making like living places? Yeah. I don't know if they're necessarily gonna be like empty or full. I don't really know. I have like a list of random buildings that I want to have. So like the stables are here. I'm working on a blacksmith sort of thing over there already. Like an apothecary, an herbalist, an inn, a pub, a butcher, an armory, a shooting range, a taxidermist, a tailor, like the barracks of what I'm working on here as well. Just I have like a random list of general spaces that would be in like an old historic like city like this with like castles and stuff. So like all the different things, like if you thought of Game of Thrones, is sort of what I base a lot of these ideas off of in King's Landing. And these were just like random, like instead of a brothel, I made a bathhouse with hot tubs and stuff. And just trying to find random ideas that I can make spaces. And so the bigger spaces are sort of the higher design stuff. Some of these may just be empty housing kind of stuff. Like there may not actually be anything very interesting or cool in them. Just as I continue to keep working on things, since I don't necessarily have an endless amount of space in the world to continually build in. Eventually I'm going to run out of build limit. So at this point, it's just kind of like randomness. And so like some of these, the idea is that these are like houses. Some of these are just covering stuff in the sandbox. I'm thinking of these as like they'd be random houses and stuff. And then some of the more intricate buildings will be the like blacksmith and armory, the pubs, inns, whatever. And I'll put as much detail into those and then slowly keep adding detail until the game says you can't add any more things to this world or we'll just keep crashing. What about a bazaar? I mean, that's very possible. I know I have like, I had an idea for like a big market area of some kind. I wanted to maybe do a central plaza here, potentially. I just haven't quite figured it all out. I also have this whole thing, which could be an interesting place for a market or shopping area. I don't know. Who knows? You know, anything. There's a huge space that I have to figure out what to do with. Kind of fitting with that. I don't know. Who knows? Lots of ideas to come. And I'm just trying to like currently just put buildings in spaces and start going. So I'm not just sitting here not working on it. I'm just trying to fill space currently with just little things, and then we'll make adjustments as we go. Be curious to see what you come up with for the butcher. Well, it's kind of like a natural thing because you've got the taxidermy stuff is easy. So like a taxidermist I thought would be funny, just showing off the head mounts and stuff. The butcher was, the plan is to use the, where is it? Dude, I'm blind. Am I an idiot? Where is she at? Oh, duh. The sausager. I thought that would be kind of funny since it's a sausage thing, like doing some of those. I feel like I had some more ideas. I'm gonna have to remember some of those ideas. But the butcher was specifically because I feel like the sausager would be great at that. Same as like a tailor, and put some armors up, and then put some like spinning wheels. And then, I don't know, like the grinder could also be similar like the sausager, like this grinds the meat and this puts it in sausage form. And then like some ovens and stuff. You could also, like the glue masher could go in a shop or whatever for like similar, like making like butter churning and stuff, or even the smoothie machine for a shop of some kind, ovens, cookeries. I feel like there's a lot of interesting ways you can kind of rethink the purpose of some of these things, but hard to say. I ran out of build limit on my Xbox until I changed the settings. Yeah, not too long ago, my game was crashing because of memory issues. I was running 70 to 80% of my RAM like all at once. I was like talking to my buddy, and he's like, yeah, it makes sense you're crashing because like the second you teleport into your base, it's trying to load like all of this, and it just instantly crashes the game because it can't handle it. So I've just been clear cutting every extra thing known to mankind in my world. It's like if it's not absolutely necessary, it's currently getting cut and moved into different spaces. Like if I can clear it, if I can get rid of it, I don't need it, I'm just getting rid of it right now. It's been I had a lot of random stuff built. Is that a mod that you can fly as a gnat or a feature? Two options. One, you naturally unlock it when you get to New Game Plus 1. If you aren't going to go to New Game Plus 1 or you're a long ways off, you can also turn it on when you change custom settings in the game. Change to custom settings. Streams are starting to grow on me as a newcomer. Cozy like streaming for sure. Hey, let's go, man. That's the whole goal. Just kind of chill build vibes. Cool place to hang out. Nothing too crazy. Watch me build and endlessly talk. I don't have the sausager? That's so lame. Oh, would it be possible if you could help me with my question at some point? Yeah, no problem. How do you even get to the, what is it, chopping list? Dude, this is literally nothing. My old chopping list before this is so small. So I also realized that memory was a problem because the more blueprints you have out, these were destroying my memory. Like it was absolutely wreaking havoc on my machine. It was so much laggier because I had, like, you can see here, I had this stem flooring all the way out to the edge here, like somewhere in this range, all the way around, blueprinted around the entire thing. So it was thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of stems. It was ridiculous. And then before I built all this stuff, like this was all blueprinted in. It was thousands of pebbles, thousands of rocks. I had like all of this done as blueprints at one point. All of the stuff under there was blueprints before I built it. So it was like 5,000-6,000 burr and more stuff. It's so crazy. And deleted a bunch of save files too. That helped me a lot. I don't know why, but far less crashes. Interesting. for me, a lot of it was just, I mean, I had like 3 deep of, because I had changed things so much. I had like 3 or 4 deep in certain areas of like foundations and hundreds of just random blueprints that I got rid of. Getting rid of the stuff around this edge area has made a huge difference. I don't crash at all anymore. Why in the sandbox? Like why building in the sandbox? Thank you, Spike. I'm assuming why build in the sandbox. I had an idea randomly after I finished my main base on the other side of the map in the pagoda. I saw the sandcastle, and I really enjoy building like around things that are already on the map. I really like utilizing the spaces and the designs and stuff that like the developers put into it, and like how can I build a cool base around what they've put in this world, instead of like the brawny bin just finding the flattest spot and building something on top of it. I really like how like a lot of this is just following the contours of the sandbox, and that's why these shapes happen. And I've always enjoyed building like that, and just that's how I figure out my designs and come up with ideas. And then since the sandbox was here, it kind of felt like a natural place to build a massive city in. And then I was like, well, what if I did a series on rebuilding? The idea originally started as rebuilding the sandcastle. There's like maybe one or 2 episodes on my YouTube that I did before I just started streaming everything. And I was like, well, what if I just built over the sandcastle and like made it into its own thing? And it just spiraled from there. And then I learned that you can like cover up the antlions and they don't bug you anymore. And then anywhere you build shadows, you no longer sizzle. And then in New Game Plus, you can get gear like an infused hammer with sizzle immunity. So now it's like, or a trinket with sizzle immunity. So you don't even really have to worry about the sizzle. So it's, other than the antlions, it's honestly super easy. And the vast majority of the spaces I've built in a way that the antlions don't actually bug you. So like down below here, this is where the antlions spawn. They don't look, you can't see them with the handy net for some reason. They don't always show up. It's weird. So like they just chill down here and they never bug me unless I come down here. And like, so like that's why this flooring is raised, one thing. And then same with this, like this all ended up getting raised to cover up. This is all at this height because there was a bunch of antlions down below and I had to get up high enough. This area slowly worked as I built out some of this stuff. This is all way above the sand in this area to stop these ones from spawning anywhere near me, and the like pit versions to leave me alone. As long as you're high enough, they don't seem to bug you. And so it's just been, once I figured out that you can sort of void the problematic parts of the sandbox, it became a really interesting place to build. Just from the beginning, I just was like, cool castle. I had an idea for a wizard's tower. I knew I wanted to build like an oasis type building with the water down where the hose spills in with the plants and stuff. And then like I could build a cool thing over here, and it's just spiraled completely out of control. What are some good base ideas? Because I'm running out of ideas. Give me some more direction in terms of like, what do you mean? Just like a general base, just a cool thing to build, or like what to put in your base, or something more like that, or like what to add to your base. Also doesn't hurt knowing what you have as well. All right, let's see. Dog. Yeah, honestly, if you're talking to Luderev, he's really good at that type of build stuff. I would check out his base tours. There's some really interesting restaurant, and I think that's pretty much what he's saying, Dagger, is the restaurant ideas He has some really interesting little like pub spaces and stuff. Just watching his video, I think might help you a ton. Just the base tours on my channel. I think the first one would be the way to go, but the second one honestly has some really, really good stuff too. There's 3, maybe we've done 3. Yeah, first one. Yeah. Look at that. Like bases. That would be my suggestion, Dagger. Also, if you wanted, as long as you're still here, of course. I think of like, if you're gonna do like a restaurant sort of thing, do kind of what I'm trying to do over here. Try using some of these canopies. They're a little funky and weird to get used to. But as you figure them out, they're really interesting. They could make like a really cool covered seating area or something too, like this around the little space you have. And then I couldn't do better than Ludarev's like restaurants and stuff. He's got those pretty much dialed in. I'm sure there's a billion different ways you could think of it of each one, of course, but he's got a really good handle on that interior design stuff that I'm still not quite as good at. Whenever I have need ideas for interior stuff, I go look at his things. Then I could do the door. No. Couldn't do the door like that. Could do it just off to the side, maybe. I used an old tower and turned it into a massive pyramid. And now I'm filling the inside of it with a city-like build. Holy cow. Send some pictures in the Discord. I want to see that. Sounds interesting to me. I think I want that to be flat. I don't like this. What are some good base ideas? Because I'm running out of ideas. Builds have a big ring around the tree. I mean, I'm a big fan of the pagoda build. I think this is a really interesting place to build, whether you do it like mine or you just build within it. I think super cool. But I always try to think of builds like, how can I utilize some specific thing in the game and make a building around it? So if you're like, for me, it was like this. The pet barn was like, oh, there's a pet deposit, a pet house, a dog house for all of your pets. I want a space that utilizes that piece and sort of like uses it as the main design idea around it. So like for me, it was a pet barn. And what is it? Like a barn typically is going to have like hay storage or something. So that's why it had hay storage. Or I try to design specific pieces. So I always think building like a big armory or like an art gallery, along with showing off all the artwork or the weapons and armor stuff. I always like having like a base to show off bug mounts. Most of my stuff ends up looking castle-ish most times. Like this is sort of like a library castle thing. I mean, that's the whole premise of this, to be a castle, but there's a million ideas. I just look up cool buildings. Think of a theme or style of build you might like, and then look up images of it and then build those things. The way I typically go. Love the building community. Everybody just wants to help out. But yeah. It's so much less toxic than the combat community. All the builders are just like, dude, this game's amazing. I have so much fun. Oh, that's a really good idea. And the other guys are like, I hate this game. They never add any cool stuff to it. I'm so pissed off. You guys are all idiots. Why would you ever use that build? This is the best thing, obviously. Like, y'all need to chill. Hey. There was definitely a stinking thing there. Yeah, I thought that would do that. That's the time it stays? Oh. Dang it. Swear. Dude, it never... like, almost enough to get it to rotate. These are definitely parts of the struggles. Ah, there we go. My kids are like, why do you play solo? I love playing solo, man. It's just so much easier and chill. I did play multiplayer. My first playthrough of this, we didn't finish the game, but we played 80% or so of it in multiplayer. It was so much fun. But they're like some of my best friends, so they're like 2 of them were my college roommates, and like you guys were like people I grew up with, like family friends essentially. So it was like we always had fun together doing that stuff, but don't always enjoy playing with others. Sometimes. I hate those corner stair pieces, right? How's it going, Harley? Hope you're having a good night. Good to see you. Yeah, the corner stairs flipping is really annoying. It's always a good time. And it's made even worse by the fact that if you're working with the corner stairs, all you have to do is like it's gonna build and then it's gonna flip when you move it. So if you need it there, all you have to do is place it the opposite direction and it'll flip into place, and then you just move it where you want. The issue with what I'm doing is that this whole thing is built on its own grid, and then this wall, the whole wall system around the whole thing is its own grid. So like that's how this can be square to like this random angle, is because they're built on different grids. So like I built this building off of this wall. And so when you get down to these positions, you have to do that same flipping trick. But the issue is it's trying to read this grid and this house. That's why this is like just slightly set in the ground here because these are slightly different grids. And so if you're not placing it on the right grid, then it won't flip in the right direction. You have to like flip it correctly on the correct grid without it snapping, or you have to flip it on the other grid. And it gets really complicated really fast. It hurts my brain just trying to explain it. But you have to like trick the game into placing it properly. It's always really fun. Trying to be better about not having random blueprints everywhere all the time. The smaller my chopping list is, the better off we're going to be. You look pretty nice. But I have been waiting for them to fix the flipping issue and the triangle pieces rotating. I did get super lucky, Luterev, and none of those triangles rotated in here. They all just stayed for some reason. I would have laughed so hard if they were just all rotated just then. I've just cried. It always seems to be like that first save after building where you exit and then you get back on is when it does it. Just the first time every time. It's super random. I got lucky though. Because everything else I've been placing has been rotating. Those didn't. It's everything that gets placed on an angle is what I'm finding typically. So since I build like so much on this angled piece. It's the angle. For some reason, placing things on a... I think that's what it is it's the pieces that are placed on an angle of some kind. And technically, these are all placed straight, so they don't rotate. Can't say that's 100%. That's just a theory. But like some of these rotated, it's so random. Is currently the struggle. It's just never consistent. Just a roof to be better. I did have some things still rotating though. I can't figure out why and when the things rotate. There's no rhyme or reason currently. Just it's Thursday, and that's why sometimes it does it. And then like it's Monday. Screw you. Nothing will work. Everything will rotate, and you'll quit. A little too tall. It could be. Well, it's gonna have a roof, so I guess it was fine. Hard to say though. You ever do figure that rotation science out? Let me know. The thing is, I don't think I have, like, I'm going to figure anything out. I don't know if there is anything to figure out. I've emailed them, like, 4 times, letting them know that's a problem. It's never been, unfortunately, looked at. Everything else I've brought up has been fixed at some point. That is just one that doesn't seem to get fixed. Or they're fixing it and not realizing it, and they think it's fixed, but it's actually just always broken, because every time they update, it breaks again. Fairly large amount of triangles rotate in one of my staircases, and I had to essentially rebuild the whole thing. Yeah. It's a struggle. I would say that's my only major complaint with the place that building is at and grounded. So random. I don't know what I'm doing. These are fun little design challenges, though. Like, how do you make this roof not look so poopy? But also, I don't want them to just be hundreds of rectangles. Like, I kind of want them to just be random, totally random weirdness, because it's going to make it look like a more authentic sort of historic city. Because they didn't, things just kind of like organically grew and added, and houses were built next to houses, and pieces were added on and all that kind of stuff. So I want it to be very haphazard in many ways. And so if we end up with sort of weird situations like this, I don't hate it. It's funky, it's weird, but like at the end of the day, I don't know if I really care. Because I want the randomness. I don't want it to feel like a super repetitive robotic city. And I think part of getting the aesthetic I want for when you're sort of like flying through these things is like these buildings just organically happen and get weird. Could always do something like that as well. And as I build more houses, I think this will get exponentially easier as we go, but there'll be moments where as I'm messing with building and stuff, that we will probably redo plenty of things. What an annoying gap. Just on that. Oh, no, it's on both sides. Yeah, love it. Assassin's Creed City. I mean, that's general. So, like, I'm working off of King's Landing is a lot of the images I'm using from Game of Thrones. But Assassin's Creed, it's that same, like, historic kind of era, how things would be made. So I think that's also a very fitting way to describe it. It's not horrible. Maybe it does want to be a triangle now up top, though. Yeah, now it starts to make more sense. And yes, I could use full ones, but I also have to be able to place these things randomly around, which means either have to place them directly in the... Yeah, of course. All right, maybe we go like 1 over 2 or 3 of them, maybe. All right, so that actually could be one whole thing. But I've already done this. And I did those. Crap. Stupid. Houses on top of houses? Yeah, exactly, though. I just want it to feel like lively and busy. And since I'm not going to necessarily be able to add like thousands of armor dummies to make stuff like Ludorav does, I mean, maybe I will, who knows? Maybe I fix the lag and stuff enough that I don't have to worry about it, but that means I'm going to have to destroy this floor to get in all this crap. That's fine. I don't even necessarily need to make the floors in these builds a real thing. For the time being, at least. It's mad. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome in, by the way, Jay Datru. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good night. This isn't even half of it. I don't know what you have and haven't seen. Yes, you can just believe. I'm just gonna go until it says stop. So I mean, I believe that we're just never gonna give up. This is way less efficient, but I'm committed. I don't feel like destroying all those pieces. I'm just gonna hope that it just never says anything, and those crashes were purely because I had like 2,000 blueprints around the map, if not more than that, potentially like thousands. Easily thousands of blueprints were around the map. So I'm hoping that that was really what the issue was. Just got in? Well, I can give you a quick tour if you want after we go to sleep. Really need to learn how to design better. It just takes time, honestly. I mean, one, don't compare yourself to me because I have a degree in architecture and I've worked at an architecture firm. So like this is in many ways, and I've built in many video games. Like that's sort of what I do. Always have. Before I started streaming grounded stuff, I always liked building and going to the extreme levels of design. So don't necessarily base your whole thing off of me and my capabilities, because I put a lot of time into getting this good. But a lot of the times it's just build and be willing to make adjustments and changes, and you have to keep going. Everything I build starts as one thing and changes into something else by the end of it. Like if you saw where most of these things start, it's just like little layering effects over and over. And I think I recommended watching my top 10 build tips, which I think is a great way to start thinking about design in video games when you're building bases and like how to be better at it in general, just some general tips and tricks. That helps a lot. Yeah, so absolutely just got in. Yeah, so we got the main castle, which is just sort of covering the sandcastle that's here. This is sort of just a back castle, but it ended up being my like main base, my place of operations, sort of designed off of a library effect. I thought the chests were going to go all the way to the top, but then every item in the game that's like a resource or bug part, food, upgrade, material is all in these chests. So I thought I was going to need chests up to the ceiling, so I quickly had to change my mind and make some adjustments. But that was a really fun build. The Wizard's Tower is a pretty fun build as well. Some tricks you can no longer do in the game that got mistakenly patched out. Little stuff. I mean, the hope is to get everything to this level of design, but we'll see how much it allows me. The upper tower is just stairs, really, but fun design stuff that I added in. Then we got the cathedral. Now you got 6K pine cones. A lot of collecting, man. A lot of collecting. The resource respawn rates turned up to ×5, meaning everything like pine cones spawn every day does help, but a lot of it I just collected knowing that all of the housing was going to have pine cone roofs instead of this stuff, which is like, as if I do use roofing, it's the feather. I knew I was going to have tons, so I've just been collecting it for ages. This is sort of the barracks, like city watch sort of space, slowly getting into the housing. Cathedral's like my favorite build so far. It's like a church, cathedral, worship space, whatever you want to call it. Shrines. This was a really fun build. This was where I really started to separate into making really interesting, cool stuff. I feel like I learned a lot on this build and like pushing the limits of this game, and it's just spiraled from doing this. I know most people in the chat have seen this stuff 100 times, so bear with me. Got the supporters temple where subscribers and stuff of the channel get their names in a chest. Just a big temple with chests, nothing too crazy. Just a fun thing, messing with lighting effects that I figured out. All sorts of different stuff in here. And then the last sort of build was this bathhouse. It's in the corner. This was probably my second favorite one to this day. Just a design for the hot tubs, but utilizing the Oasis stuff was pretty cool. And then the garden pot palace up above it. Feeling down, wondering why I can't build like this. Streamer, don't compare your builds off of my builds. Did you read my mind? Because I've been there. Like, I see people's... Like, I get that feeling, too, off of other people's stuff. I know my stuff's big and interesting, but, like, there's other people that are incredibly good at this stuff, too, and they've just put a lot of time into it as well. And I'm always, why did I think of that? Why didn't I come up with that idea? Some of the many things that are in these builds are from other people as well. And I've just sort of adapted the idea. Like, someone built something here, and I thought that was a great idea, and it fit having this space, so I built my own version of what they built. Someone came up with this rough little design detail with like putting these vertical walls in between these, and I sort of copied their thing and made it my own. Added different levels and stuff. Some of these I just came up with random ideas and went for it. A lot of it's just like getting used to it and messing with it. But more than anything, getting good at building is just like build a lot. More than any, like, don't stop when you're going. The more you build, the better you're going to get at it. Like, I 100% feel the difference between these newer sandbox builds. And, like, although this base is really interesting and really functional, if I was to rebuild this today, I think I could make it so much cooler. I'm actually, like, I'm contemplating once we get to a certain point, if this world starts crashing and I can't build anymore, I think I'm going to just start a new series, do a brand new save, because I haven't played a second. I've done this 2,300 day world forever now. I haven't started a second playthrough. This is the only one I've got. So I'm thinking I might start a brand new world and then rebuild the pagoda and see where it goes with like my current knowledge and understanding of building in this game, and kind of how I can make it totally different, but really interesting. Take some of the main elements and then just kind of go crazy with it from there. Sort of one idea for a continuation. Watch your building tips video, and one of the ones you said it to diverse the building materials. How the hell are you supposed to make a 5x6 box into details? So that's part of the struggle. That's why another one of the tips is build bigger. And I know that doesn't necessarily make it easier, but you almost always want to start way bigger than you're planning. Like, if you start small, it's extremely difficult. The only option you really have is using tons of the quarter blocks. But the bigger you build, the better the quarter blocks look. That's why this sort of build looks as cool as it does, is because by building at a larger scale, you can add the cool details. So you have to get to a certain size before a base is going to start like allowing you to do interesting design. It's also why like I always suggest at minimum doing like a half wall thickness, because that's what allows you to do these fun little things and like make weird adjustments as you go, add in these type of details, because these things are all sort of, I think of them as 2 pieces deep. So if your box is too small, the only real option is just go bigger from there. Keep expanding. I know it sounds daunting and it sucks when you like have a thing going, but the bigger the better. You can find a way to make the adjustment and make your base bigger, then that's going to immensely help you be a better builder, because it allows you to start working with the shapes and stuff. Because like I was forced when I started to only use, they didn't have any of the quarter blocks, the vertical half walls, none of that was a thing. So all of this stuff previously, before I added in little details, was all built with the large triangles. And so like that's why these details, like you had to build it at an even bigger scale previously, and then as they've added the smaller and smaller pieces, you get to add the little details and the more interesting things as you go. But like that's why I feel like partially why my building has gotten better and better is because I've gotten better with the quarter blocks, and they've added more and more of them in as well. So when I started, it was limited. Very, very limited. It's just gotten better every time. I'm excited to get the scarecrow and see how I can use that in some bases as well. I think that'll be a great little addition. Definitely we'll have some fun with that. I also spend a lot of time like thinking about this stuff. It sort of might feel at times. Don't always assume that like this is just my brain working and this is how I function. Some of these details I'm just making up on the spot and going for it. A lot of these things I've been thinking about in some way, shape, or form for a long period of time. Many of these things, like while I'm building this, I'm in between streams and stuff, I'm like, how do I even start doing this? Okay, maybe if I built this off a stream, and then in my head the rest of the day while I'm working, I'm like, what could I do here? How could I do this? How could I do that? And I just fly around the world and like look at stuff, and just start slowly thinking, okay, I don't like that. Oh, I do like this. I hate that. And I just make the adjustments as I go and keep messing with things little by little. You give advice for mass collecting like you do, because I tried it, but then I grabbed my infected brood mother bomb and went around the map collecting a few toadstool chunks and a few dead insects and got distracted on a quest. Anything I should aim for or go in this area and not here? I sort of think of each run as its own specific like need. So I tend to collect when I know I'm going to use a lot of one material. So, like specifically, mushroom, like I ran out the other day. So I just go to the highest density spot on the map of mushroom. Like, it'll be easiest to show in here. So I'm like, okay, I always collect toadstool. I know my favorite place to collect is here. So I just go collect all of this. This is more than enough for the vast majority of people right next to the undershed and then around the Java-matic underneath. That'll give you a couple hundred, like 150, 200 toadstool. And I do that as one thing. And so I either, while I'm doing this, I think for mass collecting, you just want to be an absolute hoarder is the easiest way to think of it. I hate this one teleporter. Why are you churning me? There. Jeez. So the way... Sorry, I got distracted. It's like the first tip of my top 10 build tips. Always be collecting. I try to live like an absolute hoarder of the worst kind. And so if you have a baby ant, go out, take your baby ant with you, If you don't want to lose your baby ant, if you have good ones and stuff, just go get a red ant, and you don't need the damage resist. Just get one you don't care about they all have the same inventory. And so while I'm getting toadstools, I'm killing certain bugs, especially in New Game Plus. I'm always trying to kill the infused bugs as I'm going, and I try to just fill up whatever your inventory fills up with is what it fills up with. Like, don't be specific. Go for the one specific material. So like I said, go to mushroom. So like toadstool is what I currently need. So I would go get toadstool chunks, and then whatever I pick up on the way is what I pick up on the way typically. I just try to do every little excursion. I try to come back with as full of an inventory as possible. So if you run out of space, I'm assuming you mean in your inventory. If you're running out of space with your chests, just build lots more chests. I think if you, as a massive hoarder myself, this is probably the total amount of chests you need. If you were to use the large pinecone chests, this is probably overkill. This is one chest for each type of bug. So like mosquitoes, tiger mosquitoes, termites, larva drops, ladybug drops, roly-poly. Like, this is almost overkill with how many chests there are. It was more to fill the space that I had. But like, all this is tier 3, and all this is the different what are they? Cotton or whatever, fuzz. Tough gunk was really easy. Grub stuff was really easy. Infected stuff, infused, all that stuff. Just kind of yeah, and then the goal is, I mean, once you fill up the chest, then you're good to go, right? And you just do it until, if I'm building a bunch of lights and I start running out of dry grass, I just go over to the haze, and I typically do it right around here. I just blow up with the moldy blaster, blow up a bunch of dried grass, collect absolutely as much as I can, and whatever bugs I kill in the meantime, and collect is what I get here. And so it's just this endless cycle of, I go fill up my inventory with one specific thing as much as I can, and then whatever random stuff I get is what I bring back. And when my inventory's full, if I delete, like if I accidentally pick up like a plant fiber or an infected whatever piece, if that's if I only have like one of them, I typically will prefer to go collect as much as I can of that other stuff. So if I'm going for feathers, I'm going to collect as many feathers, and I might delete some other stuff to make space for a couple more feathers, just whatever it ends up being. And then just staying focused on, if I start running out of rust because I'm making ash cement, I just go do a rust run up by the toolbox and then here, and I might run over here and get some stuff too, or run over the wheelbarrow. I just kind of make a run through it. And if you watch my pine cone video, I have a pine cone collecting video. Like, that's the run I take, and I do that run and I kill all the black ox beetles. Essentially the run, like, since I'm at the pagoda base, I run through here, get the pine cones through here, pine cones through here, pine cones over there, run through, get the pine cones over here, here, up and through, down, and it ends over in this area. And whatever I kill, there's a bunch of black ox beetles. I just try to farm whatever is of use that I might think as well as whatever I'm farming. If I'm doing lint, I'll like start down here, get the lint. I have a video on the lint too. Get the lint up here, go into the undershed, get all the lint, kill every infused bug I see. I know I'm not going to have a full entire inventory of lint, so I might kill some black ants to slowly fill up like a black ant chest. Because I have a chest for every single item in the game at this point for this specific base. And this is all just from playing the game. Like, I got the red ant parts all from killing bugs in the red ant hill. And just little collecting over time adds up to massive amounts of materials. In your opinion, what is the best run around the map armor set? This is all I use currently. This is the only set. Now, I play on mild now. I did this with medium as well until New Game Plus 3 or so. I usually previously I would run around with either the fire ant and this, and then the fire ant legs or the ladybug legs. This is what I like because I have a lifesteal trinket. If you can get a trinket, if you're good at the combat and you're good at parrying, a lifesteal quickness setup is really, really good. You just run around like a psycho. If you can parry decent enough, you can out lifesteal everything in the game. Like I'm in New Game +6 on mild, and I out lifesteal like everything. That's the easiest way for me. When I changed to mild as well, I just put on aphid slippers full time. But with lifesteal and the ladybug armor effect, getting increased healing, like if I had increased healing or something better on this, it would be even crazier. I mean, one hit of this club will like nearly full heal me. Most things don't even do any damage to me at this point. I'll find a black ox beetle. Yeah. You know, if you're playing on WoW, it's a lot harder. You have to be way more specific. Medium, you can get away with it pretty well. Actually, I want you to hit me. Come on now. Like, that's one hit. One hit healed me literally half of my health or more. Might be able to do more. Come on now. You guys are wimps. Literally. Especially in New Game Plus, unless you're on like WoW or a really high New Game Plus. Once you get decent lifesteal stuff, I just send it with lifesteal. It's completely broken. And while you're attacking things, you can just go nuts and just bonk them. Especially with the, like using a salty club against a weak enemy, you just do so much damage. You get a ridiculous amount of healing. Need to get a lifesteal. Yeah, I really enjoy it. And then if you have a spicy staff, dude, how? There's no way you got in here. Nay. Jerk. You get AoE lifesteal with the spicy staff, so against any of the little bugs, you just literally explode. Like mites, my spicy staff still one-shots mites, so you just blow everything up and you can lifesteal off of everything that gets hit. Man, on New Game 3 just broke all my armor. That's pretty typical. On New Game 3, I felt like the game was immensely harder. Fresh? Get out of my home. Your god. Yeah, the lifesteal build is nuts. It's, of course, slightly less effective each difficulty. So on medium, it's going to be slightly less effective. On WoW, it's going to be slightly less effective. But oftentimes, it's not going to do you an amazing amount of good in like boss fights and stuff because you're going to get one shot. But against anything that isn't infused, it's pretty ridiculously broken. Like, I find it kind of ridiculous how much healing you can get. And you can do that with the ladybug armor. Your trinket could have increased healing. There's a lot of random little options that you can get. But any form of lifesteal with increased healing is kind of crazy in my opinion. Yeah, might need to be the other way. Which New Game +2, and I'm struggling. So personally, I think New Game +1, 2, and 3 are absolutely the most difficult ones. Once you get the infused weapons, the whole game changes. It's just easy to move this up. I think I have an easy time because once you get infused weapons, you do so much damage that it completely changes how the game feels. Before you get infused weapons, you probably aren't going to have everything like the battle axes unlocked, so you're struggling with like worse weaponry overall. On top of that, you don't have maybe as good of trinkets as well. But the further you get in New Game Pluses, I think the boss fights get harder and harder. But I think the regular combats get easier and easier. How does the infused weapons work? Once you get to New Game Plus 4, each boss drops specific weapons. So the Broodmother drops clubs and daggers. The Mantis drops the scythe and axes. The Wasp Queen drops the bows and crossbows and stuff. Director Schmechter drops spears and might just be spears. The infected Broodmother drops the like swords, so the tick sword, I don't think there's rapiers. I think it's just the like infected toenails, or the toenail scimitar, the tick makohita thing. I think those are it. And then the blaster, of course, the blaster, Moldy Matriarch blaster. She drops that as well infused. And then the Mant drops the Antlion Greatsword and the hammers. And then you have the ability to like re-roll. So each drop comes with 2 completely random infusions. So you can kill them, save your file. If it drops, like I'm going for, I want clubs. So if I kill the Broodmother, she drops I save after killing her. If she drops a club, I then reload the save before looting that item, and it will randomly re-roll the infusions on it every time you reload the save. If she doesn't drop the club, say she drops 3 daggers or whatever, then you would want to redo the fight and then keep doing the save. You have to redo the fight to reload the loot, but the loot will always be the same if you redo the save for the collection of it. It just changes the infusion every time, so you can get all sorts of random stuff. It takes forever. It's extremely difficult. In terms of like I think I spent 2-3 weeks reloading to get this sour club. I spent 3 hours reloading for this. I probably spent 3 hours for that. Probably 5 or 6 for that. An hour for this. An hour for this. An hour for this. And then they upgrade to level 15, just like everything else. So you get the fact that I get salt damage up best and major, and then I can have a trinket that does like salt damage or some other damage or boss damage or whatever. Like you get insane amounts of damage in New Game Plus 4. And it completely changes how difficult the game is, but it is extremely difficult to get those weapons that are really good. Oftentimes, most people don't have as good of weapons as I have because I've spent way too much time reloading saves to get them, just sitting here endlessly. But they make the game immensely easier. Go to tutorial video. I definitely want to at some point. I think what I'm probably going to do is when I need a break from working on this city, I might spend a stream or 2 just rebuilding it live and answering people's questions, instead of making like a whole video on it, just because my day-to-day life is insane right now. So I only really have this 2 to 3 hours where I stream Monday through Friday currently. Like my weekends are slammed. I need a night off because I have a full-time job and stuff. So the video just isn't happening right now with how crazy life is with a 1.5-year-old. Like it's just insanity every day. It feels like. So I think, well, if I have this time allotted every day, I might just do a live stream, and then people can just follow the live stream to build it piece by piece while I talk about it live. And then since it's on YouTube, it's a VOD that's there forever that I can just point people to. So it might be 2 or 3 1-hour, 2-hour streams. Who knows? I don't know how long it's going to take necessarily to build it to a level that is good enough for everyone. Probably won't do every little detail in the entire thing. Most likely it would be the main core, getting the different levels, stairs, showing off some of the interesting techniques, how to get up on the top of the pagoda build. to build on like the hat or the brim of it or whatever you want to call it. The different little things I did there, and then I think it's easier for everyone that way. A lot easier for me, at least. And that seems to be, I did a vote in the community channel of my YouTube, and that seems to be a consensus that people are happy with. Can live with it. Like Big Mac, and I can't lie. I will be a big back. What's up, Knife? How's it going? Yeah, I didn't change the stream title and was like, oh, oops. So I came up with that really fast. Hey, Timber Build King, let's go, Grim. You would love that? Which part? The live stream or the Big Mac and I can't lie and I will be a big back? Is that what you like? It'll unlock an old memory. The funny part is that's what my brain thought when I didn't have a title for stream. That's the first thing that came to mind. I like big butts and I cannot lie, but I like big builds. Like what? What is this? What is life? Could do a door here. Is that angled? No, I can't do a door there. Gotta be somewhere there. Dang. We go to tutorial? Yeah. I think sometime maybe next week might be a thinking potentially Monday maybe. I might just do it. Just typically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are slightly slower in terms of like new chatting and stuff, so it might be a good time for some of the older people to just chill while I build something and then hope people come and ask, and then it's finally a resource for everyone to use instead of being this thing that I endlessly put off. I also haven't used like editing software in weeks, and so I'm not having like a huge desire to make videos right now. So is this like barrier of trying to get back into it after not using it for a while. It's an interesting ADHD procrastination habit I have. But pretty soon here, I will be posting, well, starting and then hopefully posting. I want to get a little bit further through this city design and get some of this stuff sort of started. Maybe not all of it, but I'll be doing an updated. I've never done a proper base tour of this. I sort of showed some of it off at the end. At the end of my Pagoda tour, I did a little bit of sneak preview of this stuff, and some of it's been I have 1 or 2 build videos that show off like specific pieces, but I haven't done an actual tour of this whole thing yet, so I think I want to do that pretty soon here. Which is an easy enough video because I've done it 100 times, and I know how I like to do them now and like lay them out. So it become a lot easier, especially with like doing looter av space tours. I have a good like formula for how I like to work on them, how I like to do the whole editing process and everything. And yes, this is bugging me, so I'm gonna do this. I mean, I pretty much am a YouTube streamer at this point. I think if... The heck, where'd that go? Hello? Oh. Sure, that makes sense. I think part of the struggle is that the viewership on Grounded is so low, and I have so little free time, which is really what it takes for me to like have the desire to spend hours editing a video and I have such a perfectionist mindset when it comes to like recording and saying the things I want to say, redoing things, that like it takes me exponentially longer than it needs to make videos, but I have a specific standard that I don't want to go below. The only thing holding me back is getting better at editing each time, but because the viewership on Grounded is as low as it is, it has to be, for me to want to do the video, it has to be like a banger, like the top 10 build tips video, where like that's easily going to be the best video on my channel at this point. And I had like a big passion, I had something I wanted to say and like do in that video, and that like created the purpose and the reasoning for it, so it was more interesting. Still was a long video to make. It took me a couple weeks to make that whole video. So I really have to like, it has to be a really good video idea for me to like want to currently do it, because it's a lot of effort and time. I think that was the one thing I learned very quickly. It was like everything takes a lot longer than you'd actually think when it comes to content creation. There are easy shortcuts, but I am not one of the people that enjoys doing those shortcuts. Doing shortcuts is, I just end up cheating myself and the viewers, so it's not as enjoyable of an experience. Make great content. It doesn't matter the quality of, matters about the personality. Timber, that's why we sub to you. And that's why I started streaming too. I think that's a big proponent of why I like streaming. It's less time intensive. I can just set up a scheduled time to do it every day. So it's not this like taking all this time out of my day and trying to fit it in to make a video. It's like, oh, this is when I stream. Sun goes to sleep. This is my free time. And that's what we do. And I have way more fun interacting with everyone, I think, is a huge part of it. It makes the build process like exponentially more fun to have people to chat with. I prefer answering questions and like helping people as well. So it fits what I enjoy doing. And then I think I'll do more. I think I'll have a larger that I want to build in. I have a feeling when Subnautica 2 comes out, I'm going to want to do some more videos and take like advantage of the hype. But like, well, I'm not really getting a huge reward out of the large amount of effort that it takes to make videos compared to streaming. It's like, I might as well just stick to streaming and then do what I'm really enjoying. And let YouTube videos come a little secondary and stuff. In that sense, I could have moved. Nah, it would have been too tight. It would have been nice to do this maybe one more out. It would look nicer. I'm definitely going to have to use this little entrance on a different build. I like this. It's a little funky, but I kind of like it. There's also not many like tutorial videos to make currently that are going to be like super useful. So, I mean, that was like, I like the idea of doing tutorial videos along with live streams, but not a whole lot unless I just did every single material in the game, and that's kind of boring. The lint one I was very interested in because I was so good at it. Yeah, exactly, knife. The balance is very, very important. And I definitely, when I first started, I was putting so much effort and time into the behind the scenes of the videos and stuff just because I was trying to make them and I was learning all this new crap. I think that's also the struggle, is like there's a lot of new stuff you have to learn to make good videos. It's a very time intensive project to like learn editing software and get good at all the different things that you need to be. Definitely makes it more difficult. A little weird. Not a great way to do. Saves time out of your day too, not having to edit. Yeah. The feeling, there are days where I really enjoy editing when I'm like nearing the end of a video, but that first bit, like everyone's like, dude, you just build really well, and I'm like, well, I have those like mental breakdowns and or like burnout from the editing process. Like that's where I was with editing, is the editing and the time put into it is what was burning me out of YouTube stuff really quickly. And just like it was that it almost looms over your head in terms of like, oh, I have to get this video out, I have to do this, I have to do this. And then when I'm not doing it, it was like these endless projects that were never getting done. And I was just like, oh, I have this video idea and this video idea. And people are asking for the pagoda tour and people are asking for the build guide. And like, I was like letting people down, and I'm like, I'm just going to, this is for fun. This is what I'm not like, this isn't my job. I'm not looking to make millions of dollars doing this necessarily. I mean, everyone's looking to make millions of dollars, let's be honest. But that is not the only intention and goal of like making content. And so if I can make it in a way that I enjoy it, which is the live streaming aspect, like I'm gonna stick to that and figure out how to fit in the videos on the outside of that experience. Baby steps, I want to get into streaming, but I know I need to do a lot of research. I mean, the best thing you can do from my experience is just start. If you want to be a successful, I think that's the main difference, is like, if you want to do YouTube and that's like what you want to do for a living, you have to do the videos and the streaming and the TikToks, and it's just all these different things. So it was like, you have to learn 100 different things. If you just want to stream, like just download OBS, start streaming. Like it's what it is. If you do it on YouTube, YouTube is like brain dead easy. You just hit start stream and then it posts the VOD on your channel. Like you're good to go. You don't even have to think about it. Twitch, I find, is, as a viewer, the preferable experience, although the vast majority of people do seem to be on my YouTube. Twitch has so much depth to what it can do. It's overwhelming how much there is you can functionally put into Twitch. You can do anything you want with that program, and the plugins and all the random stuff they have for it, like insane amounts of stuff. And like I still have endless amounts of research that I need to do to fully utilize Twitch to the highest ability, because I'm not currently utilizing it as much as I could be, of course. I think I want this roof. Figure out how to do like I almost need to do this roof style, but it's not. It's just so boxy. This is what I wanted to avoid. That's why I'm doing weird things like this, because I don't like how boxy this is. Honestly, this probably would look better just doing an angle here. It's the squareness I don't like. Dude. Right mindset, man. You shouldn't feel false guilt or like you're letting anyone down. Play the game your way, and if people like it, they'll follow. No facade to keep up. Yeah. And I learned that big time from watching other streamers, like just hearing, as I spent a ton of time in people's streams and stuff, just chilling. And it became this like, I was such a regular in a lot of streams. I learned a lot, got close enough to a lot of the streamers to like, and as someone who was starting to stream, just like asking questions and figuring out how they do things and think of things. And I quickly learned that most people that are doing streams and videos and stuff are having major mental issues, and just it's a very difficult, especially people that were doing it full time, because they were putting their whole livelihood on it essentially. And that is a very stressful thing to do if you're still growing. Of course, it's easy and fun when you have 1 million subscribers and you've made it at that point. It's the getting there point that can be very difficult. And I started this because I had the idea that it'd be fun to share my stuff and get to chill with people and do something I enjoy in my spare time. So I'm going to try to keep it something I enjoy, which seems to be the way everyone else likes watching at this point too. There's definitely a bit of a niche in like live stream building that I've seen. As weird as that is, I feel like it shouldn't. But a lot of builders are not. They're the quiet, sit at home, playing the game in silence by themselves or whatever kind of people. They are not the like, I want to talk through this and chat with people for hours. Like so many of the YouTube builders for Valheim, everyone just does the like base build guides or super ridiculous, super cool. Don't get me wrong, I'm super jealous of those people's videos. But just these like ridiculous build guide type videos. Super cinematic, really cool stuff. But they often disappear for like 6 months and you're like, dude, what happened? And they're like, I just got so burnt out working on these last videos. It takes me ages to like record the content and come up with the ideas, and like you're trying to make these really cool builds, and then you have to do like the cinematic process. That's what was killing me, was like if you watch my last pagoda, the ultimate pagoda base tour or whatever, or I perfected my pagoda base for New Game Plus, that making that video just like mentally ruined me, just trying to like go through the process of doing 2 programs to record from a third person perspective what I'm building and trying to set up cinematically like how I can do these recordings to make good YouTube videos. And like that's where it gets to a whole different level that I don't think a lot of people understand. And I'm like, wait, none of these people live stream this stuff. They're all just like, they disappear, build for a month or 2, and then they post a video. And I'm like, I love those videos. I really enjoy the that whole video process of like seeing someone build this thing. But I'm like, I know the effort that goes behind making those builds, and to then film it all is, I'm like, that's ridiculous. And then you have to be creative, and you have to like I was building the top of this tower. I built the whole top of this tower down here so I could look at it while doing the filming and build it while doing like my build episode. And I was like, it was so stressful trying to have all the ideas figured out and like be on top of builds all the time instead of just building as I go. And then randomly I figured out like, oh, hey, no one's live streaming this. Why is no one live stream their build stuff? That's maybe an interesting sort of thing I could take advantage of. And it seems to be an aspect that a lot of people really enjoy, which has been fun, finding a way to like enjoyably build while also providing it in a format that people find interesting. That is funky, but from down here, it does look good. It is way better from this angle. I always have to remember to go down into the, like first person mode almost to like check these instead of looking at these weird angles, because no one's flying over this for these base tours. I'll be like running through it as a town. Big influence for me was the early Jacksepticeye videos that made me want to make videos. Yeah, finding someone's style and stuff you like to get going as well is very helpful. See-Through, who got me through not mega building, and then I subscribed to Timber. Yeah, I mean, See-Through is who I started with. He got me into streaming and YouTube content, all that stuff from the base tour he did. And then when he left, I was like, I want to start doing base tours for people because I feel like it was a really fun experience. It's stressful doing those things, but at the same time, what? Okay. Setting up base tours and stuff is a lot of work, but it's pretty enjoyable. Like the least I can do to help people get their stuff out there, since that's how I got started. Showing it off. I have more fun making the videos for other people as well at times. Yeah, it was a big... Once See-Through left the grounded scene, I was like, well, I gotta pick up that mantle for everyone. I have to be the build guy now. And I've had a blast doing it. Ever since, it's been a good time. Big thing is now figuring out what the next game I want to build in is. So although I love Grounded, I do love building another game, so I need to start branching out a little bit. This build just has me... I'm whipped. I'm literally whipped to this build. I feel like I can't... I have to finish this whole thing before I can, like, mentally move on to any other type of game. I keep trying to play other games, and I'm like, well, the building's just not as fun. Well, the building's just not quite as interesting. Well, the building is more difficult to get used to. Well, the building... Just all these little things where I'm like, dude, just go build. So soon I will be doing other things as well. It does look fine from down here. All right, we're getting there. All right, I gotta sit down. I lasted a good hour and a half almost, standing. But now my legs are getting tired. It also gets more fun having like a community of builders in a specific game. That's sort of the hope, is that I can keep playing Grounded and add in other games to build in. Exactly, Knife. I will be. Don't worry. I will be playing Enshrouded once I can mentally stop being obsessed with Grounded quite as much. A pleasure watching too. Crazy how many people gave up on this game. I know See-Through gets really sick of people asking him to play it again. Yeah, I think as someone who's spoken with See-Through many times, I feel like I know enough about him at this point. I feel like, not in a bad way or like this is a negative thing. I think it's a very natural thing. But for quite a while, he wasn't doing it for the passion of like, I have this build. And like, for me, it was like an obsession to finish the Pagoda base. And it's a bit of an obsession to finish this whole thing. And when you don't have that passion, it makes it impossible to enjoy the process. And so like, he had all this success from Grounded, but then he felt obligated that he had to continue it, and it just ruined the entire game for him, because he felt, instead of feeling compelled by his own desire to have like build these cool things, he felt a requirement. And that's where it's very easy to lose the passion in general. You have to really want to build and have, like, you can't be doing it because it's got the best views. And I do a little bit of that. Like, I don't really feel like playing games that's not going to have good viewership, because I don't like sitting there talking to myself. I can do it for 6 hours if I had to. My wife will tell you I could talk for 6 years in the room by myself, but I much more enjoy the process when there's people to talk to and people to hang out with. But if you're just forcing content out, it's like, it gets very difficult mentally. And then to like put all the effort into it. I mean, I can see why he quit, because he watched his views go from these massive 200,000 views on a base tour to like, they were getting 1,000 views. And so he was like scheduling all these events and all these things, and they just weren't panning out the way he had hoped. It's easy to get lost in the like metrics of YouTube. Very, very easy to get lost in all of it. And let it run your mind, especially like when you're doing it for a living. This is more enjoyable for me, because any money I make off of ad revenue and that kind of stuff is just like bonus cash in my pocket for dinners. Take my wife out to dinner, or buy some little thing we've been wanting, upgrade the stream, put money in retirement. Responsible things as well, don't worry. Honestly, that was like the original idea, is that I was gonna, any money I made off of this whole thing was just gonna go towards my retirement fund. Which is so responsible, right? I just want to move that over one. I use the quarter ones. I don't want to. Probably fine. Imagination run wild, yeah. Oh, I will knife, don't worry. I'm formulating the idea. I just need to go and play it a bit more in my free time. I keep saying this, so I sound like a broken record. But I just need to go play it more and get comfortable with the build system, and then I'll have more fun doing it. But I don't really enjoy floundering around learning the build system the whole time and not playing the game. But I think this new update that's going to be released soon is probably... I would expect me to start streaming Enshrouded more often once this new update releases. I think that'll be a great fun time when some of the people come back for the update and early access, and we'll start adding that into our daily grounded stuff. In a perfect world, I'd stream for like 5-6 hours, and I'd stream the first 3 or 4 hours playing grounded, and then the second 3 hours or 2 or 3 hours, whatever, playing some other game every day. That would be like, if anyone's heard of or watched Bela Lord, he does not do building or anything. He plays roguelike games, but I really enjoy his coziness of his stream, as well as the way he does it, where he plays the same game every morning for a little while, depending on how it goes, and then he switches to, I mean, some of his stuff is sponsored videos, some of it's like, don't you dare go in there, you little... Then he switches to some sponsored segment or some random whatever it is. If I can get this guy to come over here. No, he won't go down there. Dang it. I might just be stuck in here now. Ooh, don't go that way. Run! No, you're not supposed to come up here. But he has a very cozy, fun vibe for his stream, and then he streams for almost a normal work day, which of course I wouldn't be able to do for a very, very long time. But I would love to stream part of the stream grounded or whatever main game I'm playing, and then add in some secondary games for the second halves of streams. Which, as my son gets older, I mean, stuff like that might just happen organically. I might get more and more time to stream as we go. That would be a perfect world to where I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little burnt from grounded. I only like building in like 2 to 4 hour sessions. After that, I just start losing it. But I definitely want to... I think that'd be a fun way to do streams for building and stuff. Would definitely be an interesting route to go. I think just kind of go stairs with this as well. Means we have to make it one wider or one narrower. Like it's got to be a double stair. It's got to be. Means maybe go back one as well. Okay. Very ADHD building tonight. When some of the best stuff comes out, though, let's be honest. Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Get one of these. Yeah, I'm just going to keep messing with how to make the stream cozier and cozier as we go, as I get more time here and there to mess with everything. we'll just keep it growing little by little. See how the whole thing goes. Gotta head to bed. I got work tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of the stream. Appreciate it, man. Good luck at your job. Hope it's going well. Okay, what is... Oh, it will go there. Okay. About to throw hands with that block if it wasn't going to place. Yeah, definitely hope the new job's treating you well, man. Keep doing this. I've decided that this is the best place to go destroy things because none of the antlions can get in this space currently. I need to be putting my extra blocks in here for my destruction towers of randomness. Then I can just put my teleporter. I just teleport and go right there and then jump over here. Destroy everything, gather up all the random stuff I had sitting around, and then rinse and repeat as I move things and adjust crap. And then I don't have random stuff in my way when I'm trying to build all the time. So I build these stupid towers of crap, and then I have to go destroy them all the time. This is also not going to be here, but somewhere in this build I'm going to make a windmill. Maybe that's what the observatory should have been, is a windmill. Sort of more fitting there, but really have any other place a windmill necessarily makes sense. We may not. It would be a good build if we were able to finish everything within this space to the level that I want. Eventually, we would spill out into this surrounding area and make villages and all sorts of craziness out here. A massive build out here I have an idea for. And a windmill would make a lot of sense out here. I do like that idea. We'll keep that in the back of our minds, I think. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make a windmill inside the town make a whole lot of sense. Especially with like this big wall blocking all of the wind. Kind of counterproductive. And doesn't want to be in the middle because I have ideas for these spaces. I also, for anyone that wonders how I come up with ideas so fast, I have lists and lists and lists and lists of ideas that I just, every time I have an idea, I always have a notebook and I just write the idea down, so I always have something to go off of. Because when you have short-term memory loss, and ADHD, I forget about things the second after I think of them. So oftentimes it's just better to write it down. But I could probably endlessly build in Grounded with all the ideas that I've got now in that little binder. Or notepad. What am I supposed to do with this twig? How unfortunate. I'm just going to have a log in the middle of their house. I guess if I raise all these up like this, technically it would perfectly be covered, so that's probably fine. Sounds like we're going to get the Halloween update properly set up in the next week, too. Might be by the end of the week. It's just got to get, I think it's called authenticated. But they have to just go through it, make sure it's ready to publish, and then I think we should be getting, all it is the pumpkin and the scarecrow, but I'm excited for a new build piece. I don't think, unfortunately, scarecrows really fit this build, but they would if we got to the outside of this. We were able to get to that level, then... Sorry. If we are able to get all the way out here, then we definitely have the opportunity to make a windmill, scarecrow, fields, all sorts of interesting stuff. Like, I've just been going around destroying all this kind of stuff. I think it's just raw science that you can get there. I actually don't think that's anything useful. Worst comes to it, I'll build it again. Every piece counts. Only really want the weed stems, but I might have some extra grass around somewhere that I could do. I almost did that correctly. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That was actually really close to randomly being perfect. Low on crow feathers? Seriously, dude. I am... Not that I'm currently low on crow feathers, but there were times where it got rough. Of course. Sure. Because I can. That's a bad spot. Maybe here. I just love the idea of... I gotta fix those at some point, but... I love the idea of having something that spawns feathers. That is like one thing the game has needed for so long. Was just one way to get more feathers. It helped when they increased the spawns of them. But it wasn't enough, honestly. The teleporter's better, actually. Yep. I don't even use feather that much anymore, surprisingly. Sort of the way this build's worked out, it just hasn't needed all that much feather. The bathhouse used a decent amount because there's so many quarter roofs in that thing. But for the most part, I've been pretty set. I have a lot that I've just collected as well. But I will finally be able to get, finally be able to get a full chest, which I've never had. I think I've had full chests of everything but crow feathers and technically lint. If I hadn't processed it, I'd have full chests of that. Oh crap.
Blackhand, what's your business?
These guys, oh no.
I'm burning up.
Give me your... Oh, crap. Oh. Oh, you get back here. Speed. No, where's he going? Oh, no. What a jerk. Oh, crap. Everything's going wrong. Well, everything's going wrong. Ah, they're everywhere! Holy cow. That infused one going into that center area was like the worst. Jeez. But because of the handy net, we just come over here and repair it, so it's not the end of the world. As long as they're not infused, they pose very, very little risk to my overall base. But man, those infused ones, as some of you guys saw last stream, are horrific. Bruh. What? It's all because that stupid ant went down here. And once I get all this stuff built, I won't have to worry about that as much, but dang it. For some reason, this one is miserable, and that there's one under there. Both of those ones attack. The one under here doesn't see me. The one under there doesn't see me. The one under there doesn't see me. Jerks. But we can't have nice things. And now I gotta go over here, waste all... I'm out of rocks? I'm not in my base, duh. Like, there's no way that I just ran out of rocks, dude. Alright, screw it. I can tank it. Lifesteal. Stop it. You're mean. Alright, this has to go. Black ants. I need to stop killing black ants because they need to die. I don't even care. Die. The infused ants are the problem. Because they start attacking the antlions, or the antlions start attacking them more so. Okay, well now I'm just making things worse. Yep. It's definitely not making things better now. We get it. We get it. You're mean. We don't like you. Why can't I get out? Why? Just stop. Let me be. I need to finish some of this stuff. Gosh. How much more did he get? A lot. Jesus. Get me out of here. Once this is all built up and stuff, these issues will not be as bad. The ants won't be able to be like... Currently, the ants are the major problem. I can't figure out how they're escaping because there's a door. So they shouldn't be able to be getting around from the ant hill, but they are. We'll fix that in a sec. Oops, I didn't loot that. Dude, the antlands are rough. Like, I thought they shouldn't be able to get in because of that door. Because if there's no black ants, then the black ants don't get attacked by the antlions, which destroys stuff. And it's fine, but when an infused black ant starts attacking a antlion, or an infused antlion starts attacking an infused black ant, like, they just wreak havoc on everything. We're slowly getting there. Yeah, it's also partially the issue that the foundations are like the weakest block in the freaking game. Drives me insane. Like, you'd think that a foundation block should be one of the strongest items there is to build with, and it's just not. Because why does stone and clay crumble, but my ash cement works slightly better? Ash cement's not much better, honestly. It's definitely always been a weird one. I'm definitely not bitter about it. I just hoped that building with foundations would make things stronger. To a certain degree. Yeah, this specific antlion has always been a problem. And I think part of it is I should have just built this slightly higher. It was lower than it was. I actually don't think he can attack me now. When I'm up here, he used to attack through the foundations. Somehow he'd see through, and his AI would just attack me and start destroying them. Now, it's not really a problem unless, like in that situation, I did something dumb attacking the ant, and he randomly ran through this stupid little hole. I'm annoyed about. Also makes me want to go, okay, let's just build some of this out. Like, this is just going to be a little sort of house. So it's like, why not just fix some of these glaring issues with this setup? So if there's no gaps, they can't get through. You know? That whole issue is solved if I would have just had this done. Or at least the first few layers. I've had a lot of luck recently with just making some of these small adjustments to completely negate the effects of the antlions, but I've been slacking. Gotta keep finishing stuff. Like, ain't no antlion's gonna mess with this area now. It's physically impossible. Maybe right there. Then we just do one of those. Yep. Needed this anyways. Foundation's also so easy to replace and so cheap. I don't really mind all that much when it explodes. Doesn't hurt as much. This would probably be a very important little space to finish, though. Yes, it is slightly overkill the way I'm building this, but I'm alright with that. Alright. We're essentially safe with this. We could get away with a couple of these, though. No reason to waste all of these materials. But each little thing that I finish like this as well helps expand my ideas. So I've been trying to like get the foundations at least laid out in a way that part of it's completed. It may not be the final way it's going to look, but it's helping me get past a little bit of the builder's block of like how daunting this city is to design. It's like, it's one thing to lay out a simple base that's just like meant to function as a base. It's a much more difficult project to start laying out an entire city. I think once it's going in the master plan kind of concept of it is done, or at least started, it becomes a lot easier to start adding details just into little spaces, but this has been a daunting project to start, for sure. And a lot of this is getting done from just saying whatever. Start building, the ideals will come as we go. One idea sparks another, and we just go from there. Is typically how I like to think. Definitely gets over the builder's block that I know a lot of people struggle with. Also gets easier and easier when you like have details that you like to use, that you've used a bunch of times. It's little handrail things just become an easy detail for me to just add into many different places. Can we fit a garden patch in here? If we make it flat, maybe. Probably work with one of these. Not ideal. What is this trying to snap to? Snap to the right thing. I think I have funky stuff going on here. Really does need to be higher, though, if this is actually going to do anything useful. Which means this probably wants to go one higher. Means that becomes something like this. And that just becomes worthless. Definitely trying to find little spaces to add garden patches wherever I can. Like my original idea had a lot more random spots where I was utilizing the sand as sort of garden patches like this, and it became really difficult to work with as I went as a design idea. So instead of putting these in garden areas, I'm just making my own garden areas, and it doesn't have to be as ridiculous as these ones are. It eliminates the issue of an antlion spawning in one of those areas and then being frustrated that I built it that way. Tiny Glade Farah, Shrouded, Tiny Glade Farah, and Alcahest are the reasons I'm saving up for an Asus laptop, but Enshrouded is the one that convinced me. Try building mechanics. Yeah, Enshrouded, I've messed with it. The build system itself is sort of what's holding me up, just in the sense that it's going to take a little while to get comfortable with it. It's not as natural feeling of a system as Grounded is to me. But the ability to build with the ridiculously good voxel building. Sorry, I was brain farting. The voxel building's insane. And especially because it's still in early access as well, makes it even crazier. It's a very cool game. The little bit I've played, I have enjoyed. It just, to want to stream it, I need to get started. I need to just play it a little bit more. Get more comfortable with it. But I'm going to have a lot of fun building in that game, I can promise you. And I already have some ideas going. It's almost so limitless. The whole building, and then they also haven't added, which it's part of the reason it's deterring me a little bit, not the main reason by any means, but to build a lot of the different items in the game, you'd currently have to download one of the different you'd have to download a mod. So I'm like, I'm not super interested. I really enjoy playing games in their like base like setting. I don't love putting a bunch of mods in a game, but you have to download the Builder's Companion to get like access to all the different items and stuff that you can see in the game, which means it's another thing I have to mess with and learn how that whole mod works and stuff, and I just haven't felt like sitting down and learning it. But I will definitely be playing it at some point. So some crazy tree houses, castle. Also hope one day get a Dragon Quest Builders 3. Interesting. I've ever played that. Almost like called like Minecraft, but with Harvest Moon almost mechanics, or visuals, not mechanics. But I definitely have some ideas going for Enshrouded, at least, that I'm excited to mess with. They very good, very deep, interesting, not good, interesting start to a build idea in that game, but just haven't gotten into it quite yet. But I know I'm going to have to expand upon my building games again here soon. We have built entire cities in Dragon Quest Builders 2. It's more half Minecraft, half Zelda. Interesting. Yeah, I was just saying, visually it reminds me of Harvest Moon. It's like Animal Crossing almost. This whole thing doesn't make sense. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Make some rhyme or reason to what the heck's going to happen here. Might have to move some of these things. But I want to get all this shored up and clean so stuff stops messing with me. I fully plan in Enshrouded. I'm building like a... You've played much of it. It is... There's the Mistberry Catacombs, I think is what they're called. It's like, it almost looks like a big volcano. But like it's a big mountain and then the top sort of cut off and it has a big like bowl inside of it. So I want to make a big village inside of that and then a crazy like floating castle that the Shroud is sort of taking over because it's sort of a haunted catacomb that's going to be under it. So the idea is that the catacomb sort of like started lifting the castle. But I'm still have a lot of stuff to think through and learn about the game before I am like mentally ready to throw Grounded to the wayside and start building in another game. Even though I can never stop building in Grounded, I don't think. I just need Grounded 2 to come out, really, is what we're waiting for here. That's the main need in life currently. Honestly, this might end up being a house. I think the idea is going to be some way, shape, or form to have a bunch of houses here. And then, honestly, this is a pretty good house size. Drives me nuts that you can't drag and click these anymore. I need to remember to tell the devs that. I don't feel like that's been talked about at all. That should be a thing again. Do I play No Man's Sky? No, I have not. I have not played a lot of the different survival games that are currently out. I've just really been doing Grounded almost exclusively. This one in. Seen a little bit of gameplay of it and stuff. It does look interesting, but just have not had the time to get into other games as of late. We could do a smallish little plaza here. That's really tiny. I have my eyes on the Dune 2. You can build on this one too. Dune 2. I haven't seen that at all. I tend to get very like hyper fixated on one game and one building mechanic. I've always struggled playing a lot of different games at one time. It's never really been my thing. I definitely get like hyper obsessed with one specific game. Like for a long time it was just Subnautica. I was ridiculously obsessed with building a Subnautica for a very, very long time. I had a lot of fun. So when Subnautica 2 comes out, I will 100% be playing some building in that. We will build many cool things. So I could make it something like that. That's such a weird house. That's never gonna work. I don't think I can make this any smaller though, or else I'm gonna figure out something else for it. I'm gonna play other games, but Grounded is too good. I'm glad you got me into Subnautica though, dude. Still blows me away you hadn't played it. It's so good. I am like, if I could just hold out until Subnautica 2 releases in early access, playing Grounded, I'd be a happy man. Spent a whole year just playing Tears of the Kingdom. I just got Subnautica, by the way, and gonna get Subnautica Below Zero. Yeah. Subnautica is amazing. Don't go into Subnautica Below Zero expecting the exact same experience, is my only suggestion. It's its own game. It's in the same rough universe, but it is 100% intended to be its own thing. So it's a very different, it's the same thing, but different, I guess, is the only way I can really describe it. It's an interesting, I found it very fun, but it doesn't quite hit the same, like, fear and crazy fun factor to me. Sort of differentiates itself with a couple different things, and slightly they went for maybe better visuals, even though Subnautica is visually very, very, very nice looking. They sort of went with visuals over some of the mechanics or design choices, I guess would be more so, not mechanics, of Subnautica. That is what everyone fell in love with originally. But it is, in its own way, very good. Subnautica's insane. Subnautica's is amazing. It's still one of my favorite games I've ever played. Tears of the Kingdom was really good. I still have not finished Tears of the Kingdom. I got 100% of Breath of the Wild and was obsessed, and then got so deep into Grounded building that I never even finished Tears of the Kingdom. But it's been really fun being able to, like, because I just have it on my Switch, so when I'm traveling or doing other stuff, I just play it here and there, and it's been a really fun, like, game to just be able to jump into here and there. One of those I could probably play forever. I love Breath of the Wild. I just never quite finished Tears of the Kingdom because I got so distracted with streaming, and all my spare time goes to this now. Whereas when Breath of the Wild was out, I was doing literally nothing, and my wife was pregnant, so I was just endlessly playing it. It will be finished one day, though. It's just time. It deserves my full attention. I also could get lost in the... I almost started messing with making a build video on the, like, house that you can get. And doing that, I thought that would have been fun. Could have been a cool little thing, but I never really got into it the way I thought I was going to, because of lack of time. But at some point, I will 100% finish it. Don't you worry. I don't know how I feel about that or not. You'll have a lot of fun playing on Subnautica, though, and then Below Zero afterwards. Assuming you enjoyed pooping your pants playing Subnautica, you'll enjoy it doing Below Zero. It just loses... The only downside I have about Below Zero is, one, the on-land mechanics that are in the game that are not really in the game for Subnautica, the original, feel wrong. It's a cool idea, but I don't think there was any way they were going to implement it properly, because the game's meant to be played underwater, and it just isn't the same not underwater. But at the same time, there are some elements that they did extremely good. Wish they'd add up building mechanics in Zelda, just the one in the Gerudo. Yeah. I wish there was more, honestly. You were wrong about 100%. I went through the whole game and got 82. Interesting. I swear I heard someone talking about it in the Discord. Sorry to mislead you, my friend. That's really annoying. It's definitely weird that they do it that way. I mean, I guess maybe kind of hard to implement, I guess, is the only thing I can understand of it. Just a bit difficult in terms of like, how do you code it to save other things while they technically are lost in each new game? Yeah, that's probably the best way I could do this. I think next stream we want to start working on... Yuck, this is ugly. So I still haven't gotten the achievement for all creature cards. That's super weird. Maybe it's just something right now. That's weird. I haven't heard of anyone having issues though. It's just always some random thing that everyone's missing somehow. Took me a while to figure out what the heck I was missing, so... sorry to mislead you, man. I know that's a lot of work to go back and have to do now. Don't mind how ugly that is. I'm just trying to get this idea down. Essentially, what's going to be is there's going to be houses here that go up to a certain level, probably somewhere in this range. And then there's going to be more houses roughly here. So some houses that go around to this area. And then whatever, however they divide, they divide. Not really worried about how that works yet. Then there's going to be some type of bigger... I think I'm going to get rid of these stairs on both sides. They're pretty overkill at this point. I enjoy them, but I don't think they quite fit anymore with how I'm thinking through this. And there's going to be a bigger building. Not sure if it's going to be all of this. Maybe stop there and have some other buildings in front of it or something. But a decent-sized building means I may need to mess with this to make this wider. I'm not sure yet how this space... Opening this up, I think, is going to help a lot. There'll be some type of big church, for a lack of a better word, type building here. And then maybe houses along this with a gap, like a road or something. I don't know. It's going to be hard to figure out how to lay this out. Maybe some of these buildings have to go away. Maybe the church thing is this, and maybe the houses are on that side and around it. That would work pretty well. With houses here, that's not a bad way to do it, honestly. That might be the way to go. Swap it, do that here, because then I can make this as big as I want and then add houses there. Sort of the plan. We'll see. But we're getting a good layout going, at least for these spaces. Slowly coming together. There's still so much to do, though. Houses in here, houses in here. All this needs to be finished. Plazas, this stuff. It's crazy. Gotta be broken. Yeah. I mean, the best thing you can do is email the support, Obsidian support. If you just go to their website, you can send in a bug report, because that sucks. What's up, Noble? Yes, I am still up. I'm probably gonna head out here in the next 5-10 minutes though. So we're finally like. Some of the layouts and the houses and stuff are slowly coming together through this thing. So I'm getting like, I get more amped up and excited and want to build more as I start doing things. It energizes me figuring out how I want to do this stuff. As soon as I start to see the vision start like coming to life, it's like, okay, hold on. Now I want to go. We got to build. The obsession kicks in at that point. What if we went outwards with this? I don't want like big open streets anywhere really. I want everything to feel kind of tight. Very tight knit, but makes a lot of sense to kind of come down and be forced in different directions. So maybe there's small moments here to kind of stand and like look out on things, but a lot of it you're just going to be in the thick of this city where just stuff's happening everywhere. Almost me. We could move all this over one. That building got a little bit bigger from doing that. If you're missing something for 100%, look for the hastily written note. What I searched for 2 weeks for. It finally gave me 100%. Yeah, I was looking at it with him yesterday. It looked like he had everything, but then I told him he can go to the next New Game Plus, and I was incorrect. So I thought it saved everything because I had heard that it works a specific way, and I was incorrect. Screw the achievements. I mean, worst goes to it, you could always get a 100% save world and just get them that way if it's not working. If you've essentially done everything, it definitely doesn't... I don't see the harm in doing that. Does need to be too thick to be able to do the design for the doors. Swapping to custom game. Let's go. It's so fun. I enjoy the in custom mode so much more. The nice thing is you can always get the achievements else other ways. But I was a severe achievement hunter back in the day, so I understand the obsession of it. But I finally got to a point where I'm just like, why do I even care? It's just an achievement in a game. It amounts to nothing to me in the long run. Dude. Cannot click the right blocks. Struggle's real. I just have so much more fun in custom mode. Many more games should adopt just adding custom settings to let you just break the game. Kind of works. Glyph, do I want all of them raised? Kind of. Makes the inside so much better because I can put an actual floor in. It's really convenient. Son's crying. Wife's on duty though. Does the curved mushroom door work? I can never get it to fit properly. This? Or... this? Like these things? Or this curved thing? Kind of curved, but not really. Hey, thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it, man. We're getting there. We're definitely getting there little by little. Oops. Yeah, that curved door. What's not working about it, I guess? I should TP, dang it. Well, it's two pieces of a larger thing. So you have to use the mushroom curved door, and then you see where it says G on my screen. If you hit G, it flips it, and that's how they fit together. And then you just use whatever you want from there. Build out. Do whatever. Yeah, the key is, there's actually quite a few things, but many things you can flip the direction in. I don't think I've used it anywhere, honestly. The only place, no, I've never used it. If I used curved doors, I always use the flat one in the middle of two curved walls. I've never actually used the curved door in any way. But yeah, it's all the rotation there. I think is the only thing you're missing. There's what? It's the same thing if you haven't used the triangle blocks. G flips them, so so you can build like alternating shapes. So you can see how it's a mirroring function is all it is. That way you can build up and down. So you get to flip them upside down. So some things flip horizontally like this, other things flip vertically like this. There's not a ton of things that do that, but it's a few. Been trying to get it to fit together only using 1/2. Yeah, that'd do it, man. I mean, that's kind of a cool door though, right? So this is your door. It's kind of cool. You may have created something quite interesting though. That's such a funky little door, but I kind of love it. How interesting. I don't know, maybe there's a use for that somewhere. I don't know where, but it could be. It's a funny little door. Or like this. It's like a corner door. Doesn't work very well. Funny. There's probably some use for that somewhere. Like a maze. Maybe some crazy maze. That uses like aft doors and full doors and... Dude, you could make this crazy. Alright, someone needs to make this into a playground maze of just doors. Curved doors. Oh my gosh. It just gets crazier. I was supposed to be getting off, man. Look at what you're doing to me. This is so funny. Dude, this is a maze map someone needs to make. How confusing is this? Doors on doors. Interesting. Well, if Jade ever needs someone to help him make a adventure map sort of thing like they did with the developers, this is my maze. Doors everywhere. You could break this really good. Interesting. Alrighty, it's 10:30, guys. Before I keep going insane and doing weird stuff, I'm gonna call it here. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Hope y'all have a great rest of your night. As far as I know, I should be live tomorrow as well, so appreciate everyone hanging out, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.